Cocoon Spawn Girls, Chapter 34. I sprinted as fast as my legs could carry me. I chased after Clarice in the distance. She seemed to be running faster than ever. Was Declarant trying to get a rise out of us? I wanted to believe that, severely. But I knew the facts before us really didn't point towards what she said being far-fetched. We had seen early warning signs of the quick approach of the elemental guardian Vontavia. We both knew they were headed here. We just didn't think they'd get here so quickly. What were they going to do when they got here? Were they really going to just scoop Tiki up and take her away from here? We can't let that happen. We won't. I won't let myself lose another team member. We ran across town, running down the hauntingly empty streets back towards the giant fireball on the horizon. The forest was still ablaze as objects were pulled into the large fireball being held together by Clarice and King. I feel so tired. All of this was just so tiring. I don't like being hunted. I don't like being seen as a criminal. I just wish everything could go back to the way it was. I feel dirty. All that digging and destruction had given me a fine layer of grime all over me. I just wish I could go back to the bath again, surrounded by everyone. I want to go back to when my biggest problem was just being embarrassed of being seen by everyone. It feels so silly now compared to everything that's happened since. We reach a burning valley, not too far down the road from the post office. Clarice came to a stop and began looking around. This must be the place. The tall weeds and grass were mostly smoking embers now. Any fire there had been that spread here had run its course and had now extinguished naturally. She was here, wasn't she? Clarice panicked. Calm down, Clarice, King comforted her calmly. She's in a playful, childish place right now mentally. She must have just wandered off as the flames exhausted. Let's try and find the biggest flame nearby and check there. But... Clarice placed her hand on her mouth. She seemed very panicked. King placed his hand on her cheek, petting it. We're going to find her one way or another. But if Bianca finds her first, she... Clarice stuttered before King placed a hand over her mouth. If Guardian Black does run into us, we'll have to deal with that then. For now, let's just focus on what we can do here and now. Clarice nodded nervously. Right. We both began searching in either direction for any sign of Tiki, making sure to not wander too far off from one another in case we saw anything. If I'm ever able to buy nice things again, I should buy a whistle. Then I can get people's attention and be able to call people to say I found something. That would be really useful right now. I really don't see anything besides more ash and the occasional fire burning away. I keep on wandering close to the forest. For the most part, the top of the trees seems to be what was burning, rather than close to the ground. Maybe trees burned from the top down? I can't really say for certain. I feel dumb as I begin parting bushes looking for Tiki, as if she'd be hiding from us like a cat inside bushes. I begin to pull apart a second bush, not really expecting to see anything, but I'm instantly taken aback by the sight of a girl. It wasn't even that there was a girl submerged in a large bush. It was that she was squatting with tights around her ankles. A moment that could have felt like eternity passes with both of us looking at one another. I'm frozen in shock and embarrassment catching a girl peeing, and she seems frozen in embarrassment for being caught. It's not like I'm able to be the one to break the silence. It felt weird to pull my board out, so I just backed away slowly, closing the bush parts back. As soon as the bush is closed again, there's a flurry of movement sounds as the girl seems to frantically pull her tights back up and make herself presentable. She then shoots out from the bush as she stands up tall. She's taller than I expected. Stepping out of the bush towards me, she begins to nervously speak. Did you happen to see anything? Huh. It takes me a moment to pull my board out and respond as I realize it hadn't even crossed my mind if I'd seen anything or not. I mean, I registered that she was peeing, but I guess I just didn't give it much thought about what was exposed or not. Why was that? It takes me a moment for it to click in my head that I hadn't seen anyone pee in forever. Magical girls don't need to. So what was this girl's deal? I hold up my board. No, miss. I didn't see anything. Sorry for disturbing you. The ocean-haired girl sighs in relief. That's good. What was this girl doing out here if she wasn't a magical girl? She looked familiar to me. I really thought I had walked into one of EGV's members. And yet now I'm facing this. Sorry to bother you. Goodbye. The girl gives a slight bow as she begins to walk past me, continuing this very odd interaction. I raise a hand up to stop her. She pauses, turning back around. Are you with EGV? I hold up, just getting to the point. She flatly confirms it with a, yeah, that's all. Shoot. I really did just run into a member of EGV. So what do I do now? Does this mean the others are nearby? Have they found Tiki already? And again, what is the deal with the peeing? Paige, are you done fake peeing? A voice calls out from the forest. I can't believe my eyes as another girl emerges. She notices me, then looks at her friend with a disturbed look. Are you just seriously chatting up one of the fallen magical girls? Seriously? Shoot, this might not be good. I shake my head, but I really need more time to write out a response to explain I'm totally not fallen. Oh my gosh, Sophia, did you find EGV? Chloe shouts as she charges over, noticing the two girls around me. Quickly, a group is forming in this clearing, as Clarice and I stand opposed to two members of EGV. Where is she? Clarice shouts. Tiki? Paige asks. Obviously idiot, her friend scoffs. Look, whatever you think you're going to do with her, it's over. She's our teammate. Give her back, Clarice growls. Funny, it looked like you left her to turn into a full-fledged spawn. You should show your love in an odd way. Clarice looked down shamefully. We were coming back for her. We just had to deal with some other hunters first. The girl rolled her eyes. Don't tell us you killed some magical girls. Are you trying to force us to have to deal with you? Amateurs, I swear. We didn't, I held up with my board. What? You were mute? She actually looked offended by my communication style. I swear, MJ's letting just anyone pass nowadays. King held his arms out from us to them, trying to calm the tension forming. Ladies, please. Let's try this from the top, like more proper magical girls. That fucking Pulsar? A new voice shouted as someone darted out from the forest. Just how many of them were trailing behind? King looked over at Clarice. Both looked visually upset by the voice before anyone even appeared. Both of them just muttered, Bianca. All at once, a pair of legs flung out from the shadows of the trees. A girl, laughing joyfully, just came flying out, landing right in between us, all in front of Clarice. Hey, Pulsar, how have you been? This girl is certainly recognizable. She had been the one front and center on my wall, after all. Bianca, a.k.a. Guardian Black. King deflated, looking downward. Hey, Bianca. Crazy running into you, of all people. I know, it's crazy, right? She laughed deeply, leaning back in an over-the-top fashion. She then noticed me and turned her attention over. Oh, hi! I don't think we've met before. I'm Bianca. Pleasure to meet you, she giggled. She seemed like a really bubbly person. Much more friendly than I was expecting for someone with Black in their name. I shook her hand as she practically jumped up and down, shaking me. Oh, she spun around and snapped her fingers. Holly, come out here. Don't worry, there aren't going to be a problem. Speak for yourself, Clarice muttered under her breath. A final fourth member emerged from the forest. She was clearly the youngest of the four, so that meant she was Holly. Well, I guess Bianca just said that. I was more focused on what was in her arms. Tiki! Clarice took a step forward, but froze as Bianca raised her hand upward. Let's not do anything hasty. She's just sleeping right now. I did notice the fact she was no longer on fire, as well as wrapped in fresh bandages. I guess EGV had wrapped her up and given her some pills before we got here. She turned around, standing in front of her teammates. Well, I'm sure we all know Clarice. She then leaned forward and gave King a wink as she smiled. And of course, Pulsar as well. She stood up again. But since we've never met you, allow me to introduce us. She smiled at me. Obviously, I'm Bianca, the scrappy, beautiful leader of Elemental Guardian of Octavia, the successor to our mutual friend Tiki. She gave a small bow, as if we were supposed to applaud. Guardian guest, Holly, Holly said, repositioning Tiki in her arms. And I'm Guardian Pebble, Ivy. Ivy rolled her eyes. The pervert pretending to pee is Paige, or rather Guardian Splashback. It's just Splash, Paige cried, completely red in the face with embarrassment. Wonderful! Bianca clapped her hands together. So now that we've all introduced ourselves, how about we get your name? All eyes looked at me. I scribbled down on my board, then held it out towards them. Good day. My name is Sophia, of the Coven-bred Guardians. I chickened out of putting Guardian Knight down. I know it's not really an official title. Maybe if I start using it more, it'll catch on. Bianca smiled. There we go. We've all become acquainted. Oh, and this has been great. Well, we should get going. She actually began to try and motion for the other members of EGV to follow her as she walked away. Hold on a minute, Clarice shouted. Bianca spun back around, putting on an act of confusion, as if she had no idea why we'd stopped them. Is there something else? Oh, She leaned forward towards Clarice. Is little Pulsar finally ready to come play with me instead? This is why I hate this girl, Clarice bemoaned. King nodded in agreement with her. No, it's about our team leader, who you're currently kidnapping. Oh, man, Bianca sighed, shaking her head side to side. I was really thinking, man, this is so great. First I get to take Tiki home, and now Pulsar as well? But you just had to go and ruin that, huh? And what's with you calling it kidnapping? She was our teammate first. Well, Clarice sighed. She's ours now. You guys had your chance to keep her, and you let MGI send her away. That's your problem. Bianca shot back. Well, that's why we're fixing the problem. Not like we made MGI drag her back. We came here all this way on our own. Probably scared like half a dozen towns along the way, too. Holly chuckled. Hey! Ivy and Paige cried in unison. Obviously, it had been their abilities we had spotted far in advance of their appearance. Okay, here's what I think we're going to do. Bianca held her arms out on either side in a teaching pose. We're going to take Tiki home with us, okay? Clarice took a step forward. Like we're just gonna... Hold on, Bianca commanded. See, what we say carries a lot of weight back home. In fact, what we say carries weight among the masses. So I think what we're going to say is that we found Morrowsville to be completely collapsed by a new fallen lord. I don't know what a fallen lord is, but I continue to listen without trying to interrupt the tense situation. All of EGV can vouch that this town needs to be officially marked as a spawn den, and so no one is ever going to come back here again. You girls just live out your lives, here being fallen or not. I don't care. Doesn't that sound fair? I admit letting us go as well as making sure no teams would show up here to kill us does sound nice. But at the same time, lose Tiki. Clarice seemed to be thinking the same thing. What are you planning to do with Tiki? She's supposed to be fallen like us. Am I wrong? Bianca giggled. Oh, very much so. I mean, this isn't her first strike, so I'm sure MGI doesn't want to give her a third chance. But... She grabbed onto Holly's hand, who fought back trying to keep her from dropping Tiki. I think we've got plenty of ways to persuade MGI that we can come to a compromise. She turned to Holly, leaning in towards her face. Right? Holly let out a deep sigh. You carry Tiki home, as well as treat me to something on the ice cream bar. Then you got you a deal. But I'm not letting them take any photos with me in anything remotely tight or see-through. Bianca clapped her hands in excitement, letting out a squeal. Perfect! You're the best, Holly! Such a good friend to Tiki and I. Holly rolled her eyes, smiling slightly as she handed the sleeping Tiki over to Bianca. I was mortified by the implication that MGI would seriously let them bring someone in they'd already declared fallen and an enemy of Earth, and the price was just some racy photos. What crazy swing do these girls carry in the organization? Truly, they're seated at the top. Do these terms sound acceptable to you? Bianca asked, resting her head on Tiki as she positioned her comfortably. I imagine with you there isn't really much room for negotiating, Clarice sighed. Nope, Bianca grinned. If I wanted, I could make use of any of your shadows and just force you to allow me to leave. But how could I do that to Tiki and Pulsar's dear friend? No, better we leave on good terms. Just what were Guardian Black's abilities again? I could look down and see both Clarice and I's shadows were flickering like candles facing towards her. But all I really knew about it was that she wields shadows somehow. I do have one request, if you'll indulge me, Clarice asked. Some info, actually. Oh? I wonder what it is she wants to ask about. Sure, go ahead. I'm sure I can answer. Just hurry up. It's already going to be late by the time we walk all the way back. Ivy groaned in annoyance. Have you encountered a girl by the name of Aurelia? Clarice asked. I didn't expect her to ask about Aurelia. I wonder what Bianca could know about her. Should she? Bianca rocked her head back and forth as she thought about it for a moment. Give me more context. Should I? Well, she's a fallen magical girl who's contracted to the moon. Clarice spoke in a grim tone. Surely the moon can't make any moves without the sun taking notice. Bianca giggled at Clarice's serious tone. I mean, it's not like every one of us is aware of everything the others do, right? I haven't heard a single thing about the moon making any contracts. But I wouldn't be surprised if every celestial body has made at least one contract. Clarice sighed. I was afraid you'd say that. Bianca giggled again. You put way too much weight on the knowledge of the sun. It's not like it speaks with me all that often. Our contract is more an ends to a mean. Wait. Serious lore drop. Is Guardian Black contracted with the sun? I mean, the sun makes shadows. I guess I could see that. But seriously? Space? I know so little about it, yet it just keeps coming back up. Watch out for her then. She seems like she's trouble to us. Clarice and King nodded in unison. Thanks for the warning, Pulsar and his student. I'll try my best to not kill this rando who you've put weight on as important. No one is more important than the sun after all, she laughed. Whatever, get lost. Clarice turned from her, grabbing onto my hand, surprising me. Let's go, Sophia. You don't need to watch them walk away with our friend. I felt a flurry of emotions. I really don't know how to feel at all. I trust Clarice, so I allow her to pull me away. And as we walk off, we can hear Bianca calling out to us one more time. Goodbye, my new friends! Let's never meet again! As we enter into the remains of town, our shadows begin to return to normal. I begin to feel less tense with some distance between us. I need like the longest nap of my life, Clarice groaned. I nod in agreement. I miss my bed, the bath, and our nice cozy life. Let's find somewhere to sleep. Then we can sleep in before we start heading to whoever's castle. Right! Our goal now is to try and locate Aurelia and this castle she's at. It's located in another spawn's den. I wonder if it will be as quiet as this one. I mean, this one is freshly made. Maybe it isn't the best standard to compare to. I scribbled down on my board, let's break into a hotel and sleep in the most expensive room, hopefully with a large bath. Clarice chuckles. Sure thing. I like your thinking. We both take off down the road, looking for any signs of fancy hotels. Deep down, we're both just trying to keep our minds off of having to hand over our friend and losing her again. I just don't know what else we could have done when faced with EGV. At least she didn't turn into a full spawn. End of chapter 34.